All right, Coach, this past weekend, went down to San Antonio and Austin after dropping the first game against St. Mary's, ended the weekend with 3 wins. Just talk about what you saw from your team.
Yeah, when you get 3 out of 4 in the Lone Star Conference on the road, you really got to look at it as a successful weekend, especially if you drop the first game of the weekend. Because after losing the first one, you're thinking, oh gosh, here we are still on the road. We got 3 more games, but our girls bounced back really well. What did we score? 10, 11, 12? In game 2 against St. Mary's, which they can pitch and they've been throwing it well lately. So that was a huge bounce back to be able to go out and get them. And we didn't have Cheyenne Floyd on Friday; she was under the weather a little bit. So it wasn't a bad split really. We didn't play well in game 1, which I wasn't happy about, but. We hit some balls hard. We just hit it right at them, and they made plays, and they played really good in game 1, and they earned that win. But yeah, I was proud of the way we bounced back, and then we went to St. Edwards, and I think I told y'all here last week the ball never goes anywhere at St. Ed's. It's a frustrating place to play. The smog, I-35, the ball was flying on yesterday. I think it's the first time in the 20. I actually went there when I was at Southeastern, so I've been going there for about 24 years. And I've never seen the wind blow out at that facility, and it did, and man, it was kind of fun. Usually I hate going there, and I hate coaching third base there because the ball just doesn't go anywhere, but it was flying yesterday, and Tatiana started off in the first inning with an absolute shot. It may have cleared the back fence at our field. It didn't matter what the wind was doing on that one. It was an absolute bomb, and that kind of set the tone for the day there, and we scored 16 runs and hit 4 home runs, 2 or 3 doubles, a triple, I think. So it was a lot of fun there. Now they swung it as well. Cheyenne did pitch the first 4 innings, and she was good, but you could tell that she wasn't 100%. And then Maddie Walco come in, and we shift with Erin, put her on the third base side, and it didn't matter where I shifted, they hit it where she wasn't. So that was a frustrating experience for Maddie and all of us, but she got ground balls, she did her thing. It was just they literally put it right where we weren't. So, but again, we scored 16 and was able to get that one. And then game 4 of the weekend, so the last game against St. Edwards, they threw their ace, and she threw the ball well. Had a huge double out of Leilana in the first inning to get us on the board. And then, Bree Waters got 2 starts this weekend, and really proud of what she did. She went out, she threw strikes. She probably had a few nerves, but you couldn't tell it. And for a freshman to go out in a Lone Star Conference Road Series and get 2 starts and throw strikes, and got hit a little bit against St. Mary's, but yesterday she threw the ball really well. Had a 2-1 lead going into the 6th, and they led off the inning with a home run. So we went to Amelia at that point, and Amelia was fantastic. So really proud of those 2 for being able to outduel their number 1. It did take extra innings to do it, but it was a good win.
Coach, a slow start to the weekend, but overall 41 hits being the most you guys have had in a weekend since the opening weekend for you guys. Granted, that was 5 games, and this was 4. So how do you kind of attribute that to a slow start? How do you kind of take that into the next week, making sure that you guys keep that momentum?
Well, we have faced really good pitching all season. We really have. Our first 2 weekends, we played good competition. Not everybody in our conference played that kind of competition, and we have seen good arms all year long, and people have played, good defense for the most part against us. So that has a lot to do with it, and not to say that we didn't see good arms this weekend, but we're tested, and our kids are they're battle tested and they're prepared, and I kept telling them, hey, I know we're winning, yes, but we're not scoring a lot of runs. We got to make a few tweaks here and there with some swings and all that, but I kept telling them this is going to pay off. The arms that the Missouri Western kid is dominating people still today. We faced a lot of good arms up to this point, and and we knew it was probably a matter of time. Now, did we expect to go out and have 41 hits like you said in 4 games? No, but it's a lot of fun when it happens, and I think it really boosts our hitters' confidence. Obviously, this week being able to go out and swing it that way.
to kind of go off the batters, obviously we had to bring her up again this week. Tatiana Trotter in her last 3 series, absolutely on fire. 12 for 19, 13 RBIs, 3 home runs, and a grand slam.
Yep.
I didn't even count the walks, which are also about a half dozen as well. So what does that kind of do when you see somebody really go from a slump to really being one of the hottest hitters on the team? What does that do for the rest of the
Well, she had a great year last year, and it wasn't a great start for her. And we made a little tweak 2 weeks ago, or last week, I guess, and her hands were getting a little forward. We moved them back a little bit, and she bought into it and switched bats. Her bat that she used was probably cracked, and got a different bat in her hand. It's funny how one little thing can change everything. And man, she just locked in and just hitting balls really hard. And when you can throw her into what she's doing right now, to add to Leilana the way she's been all season, and what Aaron Plunkett's doing and Ashton McMillan's doing, that's a really good 1 through 4. And then Avery Gunther, she's too good of a hitter to be doing what she's doing right now. She knows it. I know it. We all know it. So hopefully we can get her back on track. But we also had production at the bottom of the lineup yesterday, which was really nice. Abby Brand, in particular, out of the 9-hole, had a huge 2-run double. When they had some momentum, I think they had a 3 or 4 run inning on us and closed that gap down to maybe a 7-4 game. And she had a 2-out 2-run double that gave us a 9-4 lead, and then had another RBI single later. So that's huge. Carter Smith had a hit for us. Paris Bernissi had a 2-hit game, I think. So getting production up and down the lineup is huge. But then we also gave Bree a couple starts offensively and had a 2-hit game this weekend. And then the funniest pinch hits I've ever seen. Used Lauren Dela Cruz 2 times yesterday in a pinch hit roll, and she saw 8 straight balls. Never saw a strike. So that's great pinch hitting right there. Yeah, it was just it was fun, to coach, and fun to be in the blue and gold this weekend offensively.
Coach, it goes to say that this weekend it seems you face numerous different types of adversity in your team, where you have the game 1 loss, and then the 2 high-scoring affairs, and then the extra inning win on yesterday in game 4 of the weekend. What does that go to show about your team and the growth they've had throughout early on this season?
Well, it just goes back to experience and maturity, like I've talked about. And, you used the word growth, and all those things have happened over the last, I'd say, year and a half, and this is what we really hoped would happen. I think I talked about it before the season started, that I hope that this team reaps the rewards of the work and the buy-in that they have all committed themselves to, and they are. They're reaping the rewards. The chemistry is still phenomenal. Some of them are starting one game and setting the next game, and some of them are starting the first game and getting a start. Some of them are still pinch hitter, and you would never know it within our dugout, and that's phenomenal. And you can get that to happen. That's obviously, coaches talk about it, but that's the kids or the players committing to a team process, and it's a lot of fun, and that's why we're 22-4, and sitting in a good spot in the Lone Star Conference right now.
And then, of course, this weekend taking on both Eastern and Western New Mexico before a pretty long road trip. Just talk about the matches you expect this weekend. Well,
first, I got to talk about the weather. I don't know if y'all have paid attention out there in West Texas, but apparently there's 80 mile per hour gusts predicted on Friday. So we've already moved the Western New Mexico game to Saturday. So probably a 1 o'clock start on Saturday. It's not all completely official yet. We have to get the umpires and everything on board and some processes, but Friday is not going to be fun. A team that, they hit the ball well last year. They're swinging it again this year. They're having a little bit of difficulty in the pitching circle. They played us tough last year here. They're struggling to win games in the Lone Star, which is easy to do. I mean, if you don't have all the elements in the Lone Star, it's tough to win games. But they're going to compete. They're going to play hard. They always do. Coach Hickman's doing a great job there, and hired Coach Young last year to be our hitting coordinator, and he's doing a good job. We can't take anybody for lightly in the Lone Star. There's no doubt about it. So we've got to come out and make sure we take care of them. And then Eastern New Mexico, is a dynamic offensive team. They've got a lot of experience. I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. The catcher / third baseman is a 5th-year kid that can really hit, and a team that is going to thrive on offense, and and they've got a couple of good arms as well. So a good weekend. Glad they're going to be at home on artificial turf, because I do believe the windstorm that came through it wiped all the topsoil off of these fields, and we played on some hard fields this weekend. So the error total has gone up for sure. So glad to be back here at Meyerfield and on our home stadium and on our home surface.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.